think you'll have to cut in order to get down to the 26.5 billion you have remaining in revenue?
It appears that the governor's budget was about $1.7 billion out of whack. However, a portion of that would be attributable to lapse spending. And there is a traditional lapse spending. So that's 2 months' worth of bills that you pay in the next fiscal year. And that would be subtracted from the $1.7 billion. So somewhere around traditionally $500 to $700 million. So we need to cut, I believe, about $1.2 billion. And we've clearly started that process. We've already appropriated over $7 billion, and we have the remaining amount to spend. We could not cut pensions. We could not cut pensions if for some reason Tom Cross wants to call his bill in the House. I think it's House Bill 154, and Madigan has indicated 149. Sorry, and Madigan's indicated he'd be willing to call it. If that bill passed, it cuts current benefits. I certainly would want to help facilitate a vote on the floor in the Senate on that bill. I would not vote for it because it's clearly unconstitutional. It'll never become the law. If it was to pass and be signed by the governor, it would be result in long court battles that'll cost us millions of dollars in legal fees, and we'll never get to book it. But if people want to, I'm not on the Supreme Court, so if people want to vote on it and pass it, I'm just predicting that it won't bank any savings. But if I'm wrong, and it banks some savings, that'll be something which we will be able to then reduce the appropriation down the line.
What programs do you see cutting or even eliminating agencies? I don't know if that's even on the table to get to $1.2 billion.
Well, I don't know yet. That's what we're going to do. That's what the process is going to be. We have 40-some bills that we have out there that represent the governor's budget, and we're going to go through it. And we look forward to having the Republicans provide their amendments and their view of how we should cut the budget as well.
Is there any spending that's off the table, like school spending or human
Well, I don't think
services?
it's a good idea to have anything off the table. I mean, I have certain priorities myself that I feel I don't want to cut, but I think we should be open to everything. There should be no, anything that says that's a deal breaker. I mean, we have to. One thing we do know, we have to cut. We want to give the governor a balanced budget.
Does this address the backlog in borrowing?
Now, we can argue over the semantics, and I don't know a better way to try to describe this, but I like the analogy of saying that we've used our credit card. And I would suggest that we ask our comptroller, who I think the Republicans all trust, I certainly do, to tell us exactly how much money we have already obligated ourselves to pay to our vendors and our school districts and other folks that we owe money to. I believe it'll be somewhere around the area of $6 billion. That would be like a $6 billion credit card. If you don't have the $6 billion to pay off your credit card, and you have a home equity line of credit, you can pay that credit card bill off with the home equity line of credit, and then pay that home equity line of credit off over a number of years at a low interest rate. That's what the governor has proposed. He proposed it at a higher level than that, so if we can lower it because we do more cutting, or if it's not as much as he thought, all the better. So we would then pay our bills, which is what everybody wants to do around here. We would have a balanced budget, and we'd have a stability in the government for at least the next 4 years, where we know we have the revenues to pay off that refinancing, and we have revenues to have a balanced budget.
The Republicans say you should cut that, right? I mean, they're not going to sign on to that borrowing.
And that's great. They can go to the reference bureau, draft the amendments that cut the $6 billion plus the $1.5 billion that we're short, or 1.2, and we can have votes on it.
How do you foresee resolving the different revenue estimates that the Senate and the House are using? They're about $1 billion less than you.
We'll worry about that after we pass our budget over to the House.
It's a
The budget.
$1 billion worry, though.
Well, you know what, I'd like to trust COGFA. It's a bipartisan commission. I think what the House did was to take the governor's original proposed revenue estimate and then subtract out some assumptions the governor had about some revenues that are not actually in the law. So I think that the House, started out that way, and then COGFA's numbers came after that, and they just haven't updated it. So if we have to negotiate that with the House, we will. But you're right, it is $1 billion. And so the House is doing the same process over there. They're cutting the budget. If they cut more than we do, then we'll have to have a reconciliation.
And in theory, then that would mean, if their number is right, then it'd be a $2.7 billion that you have to cut. Is that
Right. I
correct?
just feel very comfortable that COGFA numbers it's a bipartisan commission, they're more accurate.
But
The
you would
speaker was
foresee
kinda
resolving
explicitly
that
saying-
after you pass a Senate budget and the House passes its budget, and then you'd have two sort of
Well-
complete budgets using different figures?
Well, no, because we've already passed House bills already. We've passed over $7 billion worth of appropriations that the House has already passed.
Was that-
So there may be very well agreement on some of the bills that we pass over to them, and we might agree with some bills they pass over to us, and we will together appropriate a balanced budget.
How's the $7 billion fit into the Quinn budget? Was that straight out of the Quinn budget, or was he looking at?
What $7 billion are you
The
referring to?
$7 billion that you passed for pensions and debt, does that,
Yeah, that was in his budget. I think we made it we passed a few extra Senate bills that reflected a more accurate number. But yeah, in his budget, he proposed that we appropriate debt service and pensions and pay for those.
and you had passed something today, $64.7 million from the Senate originally. Was there just an accidental calculation?
Yeah, we just more accurately described the amount of money that had to be put into the pension funds.
Okay.
Do you